Hello guys, it's Haunting Lime and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing a really spicy pick to the Great League and it's Shadow Metagross. And as you know, Metagross has access to Meteor Mash, which I was able to get with the Hoenn event. And yeah, that's all you need for this league. Honestly, it's so good. Obviously I'm playing like an ABB team strat, pairing that up with Bastiodon, because obviously Metagross is super squishy in this league. So as you will see, I don't play this first matchup that well, because obviously the lead was a Jirachi. So Jirachi, obviously confusions are like neutral damage, and obviously my counter is also neutral damage as well. So ideally what I should have done was, the strategy is to throw out Bastiodon. Bastiodon will automatically always or most likely get either the Azumarill out, or the Toxicroak or the counter users, or most likely the G-Fisk. So because of the decent lead at the beginning, I thought I could take it out, but sadly no. Maybe going Power Punch wasn't the greatest idea in movesets. So I should have just gone straight into my Bastiodon to kind of draw out the counters if my opponent had one. I do get to farm down this Jirachi. As you can see, Doom Desire, even though it's like neutral damage or resisted, it still did a lot, and here comes Toxicroak basically, and this is pretty much a GG. So I do decide to just play out because I wanted to kind of see how squishy the Metagross actually was, and you know, see how much damage I can do with this Bastiodon. I've not played Bastiodon in ages. You know, as you can see, my Bastiodon is a fairly good one. I think I've only powered up 3 times with XL Candy. Hate the system, but what can you do? It will power up those Pokemon like Medicham and Bastiodon really well. So this is on to game 2. So now you'll probably see a better showcase because, you know, I get an amazing lead into this Melmetal. Obviously I'm going to stay in. I'm going to wait for my opponent obviously to throw either Rock Slide or Super Power, but actually my opponent has something spicier. He throws a Thunderbolt, which, you know, isn't too bad for Medicham because it's fairly tanky. The idea of this team, obviously, Medicham is a Psychic type as well, so it'll take resisted counter from other counter users, but it also will be super effective against the Steel types or the Ground types that would come in, well, not super effective against the Ground types. So as you can see, I had a really good pairing as Togekiss in my Bastiodon, but then when obviously he switches out into a Swampert. So as you can see, Bastiodon pulling out the counters straight away. So I'm trying to obviously get shields. This Stone Edge won't do a lot of damage, but it does obviously get the Swampert in a range where my Medicham can actually do more like work against it. And obviously I am 2 shields, he's got 2 shields, so it's going to be one of those. Right now I'm pretty sure he's at 100 energy, so he has 2 back-to-back Hydro Cannons, so I am able to get this Power Punch out as well, so my counters will be doing more damage, and hopefully it is able to make the difference. Obviously got a double shield here, you know, 2 Hydro Cannons ain't no joke, it'll take me out. My opponent does switch out back into his Togekiss, and here comes my Shadow Metagross. I'm gonna fully bullet punch him down. A lot of lag there, but I am able to fully bullet punch it down. As you can see, Charm's still chunking away at the Shadow Metagross, but obviously here my opponent shields my first Meteor Mash. Not the greatest, because obviously I wanted to get it through, but it does give my opponent's last shield, and hopefully with that he obviously has to dump all his energy here as well because he's scared of me getting a second one. All that farm off Togekiss would have been deadly, but this Power Up Punch is just about enough to take out this Swampert. So well played to my opponent. This is actually a really fun team to mess around with. Obviously I wouldn't say go out and play this, but it showcases how good Metagross could potentially be in the Great League. Onto a decent lead, but my opponent switches out into his Whimsicott. This is probably a double Charm lineup, so not gonna lie, I saw 3 Charm teams against this team, so it was the dream playing this team against those teams. But yeah, I could have played one of the games a bit better as well. So obviously straight into my Bastiodon. I could have gone into Metagross, but obviously Metagross is more squishier. I'm using it as a closer, and even these Grass Knots aren't really effective against this Bastiodon. I should be able to outpace this Whimsicott to the next Flamethrower, and I am able to get there as well. And this should basically KO if he decides not to shield. Obviously he will, so he loses that switch advantage, but obviously Umbreon isn't the greatest against Bastiodon, because it's basically a super tanky Pokemon versus a super tanky Pokemon. You're not going to do any damage to each other. Even its charge moves, foul play, isn't going to be enough to take it out. As you can see, the extra Excel Candy level up, put in work. I'm able to get to the Stone Age and get this Umbreon into the level where I can actually almost take it out, but my opponent switches out, so I immediately go into my Metagross, and yeah, Metagross puts in work against the Charmers. This Wigglytuff won't even have a chance to get to a charge move. Also, still have 2 shields, which I would have used immediately, and this Meteor Mash, if it goes through, it's going to do so much damage, and oh, I got shielded, so it wasn't great. So I get to a second one, thankfully, and now you shall see the power of Metagross, or Shadow Metagross. So smash straight into him. So yeah, pretty much was able to take out that 1/3 of health for the Umbreon. Sadly, it wasn't able to get the first one through, but you know what, Metagross putting in work. So this is the game I was talking about. So I wasn't fully sure of the matchup against Medicham and Galvantula, so I have to chat to kind of get my so-called technique working. I do bait out the Azumarill, which is fine because now my Metagross can come in and actually farm it down. I might try Shadow Metagross with another team. I do think it's got a lot of play in Great League, maybe not in the high leagues, but it's got a lot of like damage output that I can actually utilize really effectively. So obviously I'm going to shield the first Hydro Pump because I thought my opponent was building up a lot of energy, and I can't let this Bastiodon take too much damage, and also I need to kind of get the Azumarill low enough where I can actually farm it down. So here my opponent most likely will throw a second Hydro Cannon, and I could have shielded and it would have been a charge to the next race to the next charge move, but my opponent would have shielded probably too as well, which is fine. So I decided to let it go and actually decide to bring in my Shadow Metagross to actually farm it down. And I know my opponent can't get to another Hydro Pump because obviously he just used all his energy before. This is most likely an Ice Beam, and again, I'm just testing out how tanky this Pokemon is, and an Ice Beam does quite a lot of damage to this Metagross. So, not great, but I am fully loaded. So here again, here it comes. The Smash. Smash! As you can see, a 3rd damage again on the Umbreon. So quite a lot of damage, even though to a super tanky Pokemon. So here, obviously not knowing how much Lunge would do, I'm going for the Power Punch to kind of boost my attack up again, and I really should have just gone straight Psychic, but obviously this was to bait out the shield, and I make my biggest mistake here, thinking that I could probably outpace this Galvantula to the next charge move, and I click on the Power Punch, which was basically game deciding. I'm not sure if my Psychic would have been enough to take it out before, because I'm able to get to a Psychic obviously if I just carried on countering down. I'm not sure if Psychic would have been enough, but I think maybe the counters would have added up to that and would have got to being able to take this Galvantula out. So that was my misplay, not playing that effectively, and obviously here Umbreon comes in and is able to get to the foul play to take me out. So maybe if I played that differently, I mean Metagross really had no more play against the Umbreon, most likely would have been taken out, but maybe I could have salvaged this match a little better. So unlucky there, but well played to my opponent. On to the next game, and Medicham up against a defense Deoxys. So I wasn't aware defense Deoxys is kind of a line being used right now with double charm, so again, great team for me to go against. So waiting for my opponents to throw the first move, he actually throws a Psycho Boost and ditches out. So I immediately go into my Shadow Metagross. Ideally I could have gone into my Bastiodon and not needed to shield here, but I go into Metagross because I just wanted to kind of use it more and utilize it a lot more as well. But yeah, I'm able to fully farm it down, so I've got loads of energy, and this defense Deoxys comes back in, and again, I'm going for that smash. Will I get it through? No, my opponent decides to shield, but because I'm able to almost get to another one, I think I should be outpacing. My opponent is coming to the farm down, but he doesn't know what this next smash will do to him. Smash straight in for the KO. So that was an absolute that was an absolute annihilation to that, and my opponent decides to quit when he sees the Bastion. So I had a really fun time playing this team. Again, I wouldn't recommend it playing the exact team, but there might be some play with the Shadow Metagross, so do try it out. It did actually help me climb. It's only one set today guys, but I'll bring some more funny meme teams in the future. Thank you and take care.